Ascent's Ascent came out on patch 15.5, which is a brand new game mode by Riot Games for TFT. In today's video, I kind of want to talk about my own general thoughts about the game mode and also share with you my experience, whether I think you should play it or not, how it actually works in case you've never even touched it before, and also some improvements to the game mode that I think would be great in case they decide to bring it back. But first, let's talk about what exactly is Ascent's Ascent. Ascent's Ascent is basically Riot's take on a TFT PvE roguelike. You climb up a mountain zone by zone, each with unique modifiers and a boss waiting for you at the end. All zones are 3 stages long, but the overall structure is you fight the opponent's boards, survive as modifiers begin to increase, and then face the boss at the end of stages 2 and 3. If you lose, you'll burn through one of your limited lives, and if you run out of lives completely, you'll have to reset the zone entirely. But your ultimate goal is to clear the summit zone, and it doesn't stop there because in order to become a guide master, you have to then beat the summit zone using at least 12 different guides. Do that and you get to unlock rewards such as the Dragon's Dive portal. But you also might be asking, what exactly are guides? Before you even load into the game, you get to pick a guide and it changes the way your run will play out. Think back to like Legends in Set 9 where they tweaked the rules of the game a little bit just enough to open up new strategies. So for example, Pantheon gives you a movable spear and after a short delay, he leaps to it, damaging enemies and shielding allies. Or someone like Teemo, who is one of the spicier ones, who gives you a +1 team size, but removes 3 and 4 cost champions from your shops while letting 5 costs appear just a little bit earlier. Each guide pushes you in a new direction. On top of that, as you play more runs, you earn experience for your journey track, which goes up to level 80. Each level gives you new perks such as more guides, extra lives, bonus golds, free items, or even higher max interest. Early on, you'll be scraping by with very limited resources, but over time, you snowball into having much more resources across each zone. But now that you understand how it works, let's talk about the gameplay experience. When you first start, this mode feels tough. With so few perks unlocked, every single decision really matters. So you really just can't coast through because you really need to strengthen your board every turn if you want to survive. And honestly, that's pretty refreshing. In regular TFT, especially in ranked, the mid game can feel like dead air sometimes. You're just waiting to hit a spike, waiting for items, or waiting to do your roll down. But in Ascent's Ascent, every turn feels impactful. Every decision counts, and clearing a boss when you're really hanging on by a thread is genuinely satisfying. But here's the thing though, once you start climbing the journey track, the difficulty also falls off, and around levels 40 and 50, the zones honestly stop feeling like obstacles and start feeling more like chores. And by the time you've maxed out at level 80, you're drowning in so many resources that you can basically autopilot through runs. So at that point, it's not really about overcoming a challenge, it's just grinding through the remaining guides to finish. So for experienced players, the early journey track is easily the best part. It's tense, it's rewarding, it forces creative play, but the latter half, that honestly, it just gets way too easy. So that being said, regardless of skill level, this mode has a lot to still offer. If you're new, it's forgiving once you unlock perks, but maybe a bit more frustrating at the beginning. And if you're experienced, the early runs gives you that sharp decision-heavy gameplay TFT sometimes lacks, but the latter portion of it can feel very boring. So how exactly could it improve? Well, as we've kind of talked about, it seems like one of the biggest issues is the replayability, because once you've unlocked everything, especially the higher journey track perks, the fun factor drops substantially. The game becomes too easy and just doesn't give you a reason to keep pushing once the grind is over either. So one solution I'd like to propose is something like a prestige system. I remember back when I was a kid, like playing Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox, and sometimes you'd load into game and see a player with a 9th prestige icon, meaning they basically hard resetted their progress 9 times to earn that icon. That prestige system gave players a reason to reset and start fresh with extra rewards along the way. I think it'd be really cool if Ascent's Ascent did something similar where instead of capping the journey track at 80, you could reset down to 0 up to 70, reset again and then up to 60 and so on, up to like 10 prestiges. And then each reset could give you new cosmetics or icons or challenges to show off while stripping away the power creep perks and making the game hard again, but in a really fun and enjoyable way. As someone who loves to unlock and collect everything possible in games that might require a long grind, that honestly would turn Ascent's Ascent into something I personally would love to come back to and make it not just feel like this one and done climb. So should you play Ascent's Ascent? And honestly, I think yes. I think it's a refreshing take on TFT. I think it rewards skillful play and it makes every decision matter in a way that the main game sometimes doesn't. It actually reminds me a lot of games like Backpack Battles where it really does feel like every turn matters and you really need to think about your best option. But again, you can't expect it to stay difficult forever, and by the late game, it really feels more of a grind rather than a challenge and can get a bit boring. Still, if Riot adds a long-term progression system like a prestige system, I honestly could genuinely see this becoming one of TFT's most replayable modes. But what do you guys think? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comment section below. And until next time, I'll see you guys all later. Take care. Happy clobbing.